We have interpretation available, so everybody select your language. And I also, for the first thing, I wanted people to take a look at this poll. Let me see. So we've got, let me go here. It should be presenting soon. I want to go back to the beginning. So yes, I had asked people if you actually have a website. So thank you so much for the 8 people who've already started to respond to this. That's really great. I wanted to see, yes, so I think that we're doing this at a presenter pace, I think. So do you currently have a website? Go ahead and write that. And if you'd like, you can also scan the QR code to access this poll. So today we're going to be focusing on websites a little bit. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the timing for the program that we have coming up. So thanks so much for jumping onto this poll, and we're going to leave it open. Then I also had a quick question for everybody about their logo. How satisfied are you with your logo? And we've got a few answers there. So I'm going to probably, I'll leave this poll open, but so that we can all start to get started, I wanted to actually share a different screen with you guys so we can talk about some of the requirements for the upcoming phase 2 application. We realized a lot of people had those questions, so we wanted to put this session in now, which is over a week before our applications are opening. So let me go to this little presentation. Let me see if I can make it full screen for you. Slideshow, there we go. So the biggest thing I wanted to share this at the beginning as a bonus for the people who are getting here on time, which we've got 41 people joining us, so wanted to thank you for that, is wanted to talk about the phase 2 applications. What is it? When is it? How can you succeed? And what we're going to do to help you guys succeed. So first of all, applications have not opened yet, July 1st through the July 23rd. However, your preparation for the application has already started. So I think we're in week 8 of our program. So congratulations for joining us, having the time pass, keeping your mind open to a lot of new business models, as well as things that you can change in your business. It's been amazing. So phase 2 is basically a mini culmination of things that have happened the first 12 weeks. So we want to give everybody a chance to do the best that they can to be able to join us for the top 15. So you will receive a link via email. We'll also put it in our WhatsApp group. We'll also put it in our Restore Forward group, and we'll put it in our live sessions as well. This link is going to be a link to the application form. In the email, we'll also send other things such as guides, tips, pointers around that, so you won't be lost. But basically, at the end of the day, you're going to click on an application form. What's going to be on the application form? So many basic things like what's your company, who you are, some identifying questions. But the things that are more substantive for you are going to be that site visit video. We anticipate you being able to put in a link to it. So maybe you're hosting your video on your website, on YouTube, on Vimeo, or some other way, but you should be able to have a link so you don't have to actually upload a video, just put a link there. We also are expecting a link to your functioning website, so we will be clicking on those. A lot of people have websites, not everybody does. We're not really judging the website on how, quote, good it is, but is it relevant? Is it working? Does it look like it adds value to your company? A point that was brought up by Looney once again is, are any companies without websites getting funded? No. So is a website sufficient for funding? Once you create a website, will you magically get funding? No, but we're going to go a little bit more into the way a website can work to strengthen your brand and strengthen your credibility a little bit later today. And then uploading a PowerPoint of your slide. So you can upload the PowerPoint document, or the PDF, I should say, or you can have a link to your PowerPoint. So for instance, if you are using Google Documents, Google Drive, you can share that link and we can click on it. So those are the three main deliverables from this program that you've had some training around. You've been provided some templates or some guidance, and we hope that you'll be able to create something great for that. And the last thing on there is a discussion of how you would spend your $5,000 innovation grant. So this is going to be useful for creating stories around the impact of this land accelerator as well, like of this grants that are heading out the door. What are you guys using them for? And so we'll have example categories you can select. We'll ask you for some budget, some like a line item budget of like $1,000 for this, $1,000 for that, $3,000 for this machinery. And so that will be a part of the application as well. And we will be looking at how realistic and useful and impactful this $5,000 grant proposal looks. That will also be a part of what we're considering to make it to the top 15. Now, what do you get for the top 15? We're having a land accelerator. We're hosting it in Malawi this year. The dates are October 16th through the 20th. We did not yet select the city. We're going to be working with our local partners to determine that city. But we have determined from working in Malawi in years past that it's a pretty easy country for Africans, most Africans to get to. You either do not need a visa or you can get visa on arrival. Rare cases, you need to do an e-visa ahead of time, but that's pretty easy. Just sign up online. So we will see you in Malawi. There will be our training program will include a site visit. It will also include a demo day of live pitching that we will also stream live. So we'll invite everybody to join us from this group as well. And, we're also going to be pitch practicing live. We're going to be having one-on-one kind of mentorships live. So we hope that you'll join us, and also just networking amongst the group, as well as among selected Malawian companies and members of the Malawian ecosystem there. Just as they're a great host country, we want to also show you the local landscape there. So those are some of those discussions, and I think I'll stop there and maybe head back to the poll. I wonder if Fabiana and Samuel would like to take any questions that they might have seen in the chat box right now. Fabiana, Samuel, would you like to share anything through your voice?
Hello, I'm speaking from my other device right now, but that's okay. I just wanted to say that I didn't see any questions in the chat yet, but I've posted the links to the Restore Forward pages for pitch deck and site visit video. Those will help you as you're creating those deliverables. So definitely refer back in the pitch deck. There's a template, sort of Looney's template of how to make those slides, what should be on each slide. So definitely important that you follow that. We are looking at the number of slides in your pitch deck. We are expecting you to sort of follow this format. There's the recording. You should definitely, look back on the recording, look back on all of those resources. Alana, who takes notes for these sessions, also provided some excellent notes on the pitch deck session. So do refer back to that page. Same thing with the site visit video. Refer back to that recording, before or during as you're making those deliverables. These please do put some time and work into these, but there are resources to help you create your deliverables.
Yeah, I think that's great. So also, if you didn't catch that, we're going to be creating a specific guide as well that we'll probably be emailing out and putting it into the WhatsApp group PDF with these links really specifically so that you can do it. And we also do have the poll still open. I saw Rowan's request for the poll again, so check the bottom of your chat box now. And I do see a question from Bruno. I don't know what it means yet, so I'm going to have to go to the translating and see if I can figure it out.
So the question is asking, what is the grant amount for phase 2? So for those that make it into phase 2, the top 15, there is, Amanda, do you want to answer?
It's $5,000. Yep.
Okay. All right. I think that covers the questions.
Yeah, I think that covers the questions. So we'll just go back really fast to that poll that a few people have been able to get to. We'll check out the latest numbers. Again, if you didn't take the poll, check it. This is just going to be a quick visit. To that poll, of course, there's my Gmail. Ha ha ha. Here we go. And so many, oh my goodness, so many things are open and they don't go away. It's hard to get to it all. All right, so then again, we've had 12 people. I would have hoped that more people, we've got 57 people here. So please guys, fill it out. I want to see what you're doing here. So far, 16 people have responded. Thank you so much. I'm seeing that number go up. You can access this through the Mentimeter code, the QR code, or through the chat box link. So we've got a lot of people with websites, a few people none. And then I want to go to the next question, which is also kind of talking about the logos. So a lot of people love their logo. Some people like it. And about 6 people are looking for a new logo. So I think with this, continue taking this little poll and, oh, it says Menti is slow today. Very funny, huh? Thanks, Lydia, for letting us know. I think with this, I will go back and start the presentation as well that I have for today. And thanks, guys, for joining us. Again, see, am I still sharing? I think I'm still sharing. Can you see?
You are. It says Lennox, Southern, and Malawi right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I just switched. So, okay, so getting into the meat of this, wanted to talk about websites today. Wanted to first talk about what are some of the purposes behind a website, some of the pages of a suggested basic website, suggested content, looking at platform comparison, and an open discussion of do-it-yourself versus hiring a designer. So moving on from this, want to make disclaimers, a few disclaimers. This is focusing on website creation for businesses that are not high tech. For instance, if you have a high tech business, an agricultural technical company, odds are that you've also gotten the talent to figure out how to make a really great website that fits your needs. So we're looking at creating a website for non-tech businesses because these kind of websites that we're looking at today are so basic that it is about sharing information. It's about having a clean brand forward place so that people can find out who you are and how that can serve your business goals. So again, focusing on the basics. We're looking at sharing you some techniques so that you can launch your website in literally 2 days. You could probably do it in 4 hours if you really focused on it. And with the idea that having something that looks good and clean, even if simple, is much better than having nothing. And it also gives you a great starting point if you ever want to hire a designer to help you take things to the next level. Because even if you have a basic website that didn't cost you very much money or time, it can start to share the vision with the designer who could take it to the next level. So these are the disclaimers that I have. I also wanted to share that this is a presentation that I created myself as a non-expert website creator for perhaps the audience of people who might feel like they've never created a website before or they're not into coding. So if this is speaking to you, this will be really great. It's something that you can do, as I said, in 1 or 2 days. So wanted to say here, just to remind everybody who's maybe starting the website for the first time, we saw a few people on that poll. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You might be familiar with this, as in that you've launched your own businesses. So launching your website is a significant step in your business, and hopefully we can start that step today or tomorrow with some of the things we'll go over on this presentation. So the first thing that I want to remind everybody of is that there are purposes of websites, and knowing your purpose of your website, what you want it to do, and you can just create it yourself. You can imagine what the purpose you want the website to perform is, can help you design your website. So I think I put down a few ideas here. You could come up with your own, and you might want to take note of it, write it down on a piece of paper, or just know it in your mind, like why you'd want a website. I'm pretty sure that the entire purpose is to somehow help your business grow. So there's different ways you can do that. The website can help you do that. It can be a part of building your professional branding. It can be used as something to help you strengthen your credibility, help you identify, confirm your partners, confirm sales, confirm funding sources, such as from lenders, equity investors, or grants. And it's a platform that helps you exchange information from your company to your stakeholders. That could be your smallholder farmers, that could be grocery stores that want to purchase from you, or people who want to partner or invest with you. And at the bottom, I just have one simple thing there: make it easy to buy. And by buy, we could mean purchase your products or services, or it could be make it easy for them to do the action you want the people to do. So just keep in mind what that is. Going into each of these bullet points a little bit more in the next couple slides. So building a professional brand, I think a website can do that, but it often can spring from the use of a logo. So wanted to go a little bit into some logo options for people. I saw that a lot of people like their logos. A lot of people love their logos. Some people would be open to trying something new. So I took a little side note here, even though we're talking about websites, took a little side note because the logo can be so important in maybe selecting your branding and the look of your website, that even if you have a logo, I went through and in 5 minutes, in 5 minutes, I found 4 different websites where you can create a logo in under 2 minutes each. If I can have some help with the muting. And so you're going to get these slides afterwards and be able to check this out. So you can check out each of these websites. And I just wanted to show you, I made a random company called Amazing African Fruits. And this was my favorite website of the 4 I tried out. Look at how diverse each of these logos are. They're so much fun. Some of them, have something to do with Africa. Some of them have something to do with fruits. You can see a watermelon down there in the lower corner. You see Africa with the baobab tree. It looks really nice. So you can try these out. And these are all kind of customizable as well. These are just starting points. And yes, you do have to purchase some of these later, but it's something really great for the do-it-yourselfer. This is another website I found. These are some examples from another website I found, Logo Master AI. And this is another one called Tailor Brands. And what all of these websites have in common is they ask you some basic information about your company, the name of the company, a few logos that you kind of like, that you think look nice. They might ask you a few things about like, what sector is your company in, and then it uses their technology to give you a lot of different options. So even if you already have a logo you like, it might be worth playing around with some of these websites, and you will get these slides after the presentation today on Restore Forward. Next thing that a website can do, as far as the purpose is, again, is strengthening your credibility. When your stakeholders can check your website, it helps your future partners, buyers, funders want to do business with you. They can read you, they can check out the site visit video, they can feel a little bit more comfortable with who you are before having a conversation with you or after having a conversation with you. When they're thinking, am I going to purchase from this person or not? Or when the farmer's thinking, do I really want to plant 100 trees on my farm or not? You can put this kind of information that can help convince them on your website. Here, you can also strengthen your credibility by talking about your past achievements. Again, your past achievements can be your impact in the community, how many people you're helping, a case study from farmers participating in your value chain that have improved their livelihoods. You can integrate photos and videos. As we said, your site visit video might be really great here. You can also highlight relevant research that supports your intervention. So for instance, if you're growing bamboo, you might have a section on your website that says about bamboo. Why is this even helpful to our communities? You can talk about the story of how it's helping your community. And you can also then reference, hey, this is a study by the International Bamboo Association, by INVAR, that talks about the five, I'm making it up, the 5 benefits. And you can, of course, list those 5 benefits on your website for easy people to easily read, but they can check research if they're the kind of person who's like, all right, this company is not just making this up. There's third-party people who've already researched it. So these are just some ideas about how to strengthen your credibility. Again, why? Investing in people is investing in the team, as you've heard from our realities of funding and from Looney and Reiki this whole time. But investing in you is not just giving money. It can be partnering with you. It can be deciding to host your products at their store. So we want to, the website do everything we can to strengthen your credibility. And of course, hosting testimonials. So these are just some different ideas of purposes your website can also fulfill. We'll talk a little bit about how and where to put that on your website later. The website can help you confirm partners, sales, and funding. Why wouldn't you have a website unless it helps you do this? If your website is not helping your business grow, then why would you have one? Obviously, websites help businesses grow because almost every business either has a website or a goal to have one. That being said, you cannot really expect action just from having a website. So just because you have a website, I don't think people are going to find it. I don't think people are going to reach out to you. There needs to be an engagement plan around that. And you can think about what that is as you're building your website. You know, will you send your website to people via WhatsApp? Will you send a certain web page to a certain type of customer when it's time for them to purchase from you? So just think about how you can use your website as a place for easy engagement. And always this website helps people inform themselves about your company when you are not around. So it can help them want to connect with you later. And again, about exchanging information. If people are clicking on your link, they're clearly coming to your website to learn something. So this comes to the whole idea of, well, what links will you send to people? What conversations will you have with people? And then say, follow this QR code. What will they want to come there for? You know, if you're working with farmers, maybe they've heard a video or heard a testimonial in person about a farmer who's increased their income by 25%. And now they can sign up on their phone in order to, you know, come to your next training. I'm making this all up, but you can think what is going to make people want to come. Getting more money, getting more money, getting more money. How are you helping them get more money? Or if it's a funder, how are you helping that? How is your business helping create impact? So this information exchange that you have on your website can actually be the start of your conversations. Now we're going to get a little bit. I think maybe I could break and ask Fabiana or Samuel if they have. I think I'll do this before every session. If you guys have comments or if you've seen any questions that we should take.
There are no questions on the chat so far, but okay. Yeah, it's clear. Thanks, Amanda, for taking us through. Yeah, so sometimes we wonder why should we have a website, and especially for young businesses somewhere in the rural village, say in Mali or even in Kenya, why do I need a website? But certainly you've been able to put this thinking of the essence of why we need a website. It's not just for formality. There's a lot that actually comes in when we actually have a website. Yeah, thanks. And I'm sure maybe towards the end, we may also want to look at social media and how that links with website as well. Yeah, because again, it's a platform that helps us to communicate. But yeah, so far so good. And hopefully the team can actually share their questions on the chat, and we are happy to take them. Yeah, back to you, Amanda.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Samuel, then. And just looking here, again, encouraging people, what is an entrepreneur? And I think you will probably, many people here will identify with this. Someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way down. Everybody here is doing something different. That's why they're in the program. And so we want to invite you to jump off a cliff again and build your website. Take the leap of faith. Okay. That baby says, no, you cannot make me do it. But anyhow, let's see what we're going to get into now. So again, this is really the most basic website. Why? Because start simple. Don't get overwhelmed if this is your first time. Start simple and go from there. So we're talking about 4 pages. Your home page, an about page, a page that has something to do with showcasing your products, services, and making a contact with your audience, whoever that is, and then a page about impact. I'll go into a bit more of these pages on each of the pages that follow. Just showing here a quick quick sample of one of our companies actually from India that you can see has a very simple menu right there up top: home, shop, about us, blog, and contact. So we're really trying to keep it to a very simple, navigatable website. People probably won't stay on so very long, so we want to make it very simple for them. Before we go further into what might you put on each of those pages, I wanted to give a suggestion to people, which is, let's not get caught up in the platform part of building your website right away. Let's think about what the content is that you're going to use. Because if you have some content pulled together, perhaps on a Google document or within a Google folder, once you find a website building page you like, you can easily copy and paste these paragraphs, these ideas. You can drag in photos to where you want them very easily. So I would say we should get the content ready before we start building the platforms. So collecting and creating your content, understanding what you want your content to be is day one. Now that might be a lot of work for day one, but if you keep it simple, you can have a very basic content going on. And then maybe building can be day two. You could say it's phase one versus phase two if you need to take more than a day to do this. So again, with that in mind, let's take a look at some of the content on some of these pages. For the homepage, again, this is something that might take some thought on your part. So I found a template that could help you. There's plenty of templates online. I know it seems kind of silly to say, check out a template when we're doing a training, but obviously you can't just write your homepage content within the 3 minutes that I'll be presenting on it. So you'll have access to this link following the session today, where you can read the whole article. But let's see some of the highlights that I took from this amazing article are some things that you can include on your homepage. So of course, your homepage is somewhere people show up and they might automatically start scrolling to get a quick picture of your company before they might visit any other pages, like your impact page or your about page. So we really want to catch them. Again, we're talking about having a headline, having a subheadline, having a call to action. And these things are described more in detail under each of these headings. So for instance, a headline, might be for our company called Acacia EPZ. It might be something like providing gum Arabic to the industries of the world, and maybe the subheading is working with communities in northern Kenya to produce the highest quality, gum Arabic. I'm making it up. Call to action. Maybe there's call to actions for different people, where it is communities sign up to work with us. Maybe it is, are you exporting gum Arabic? Learn more about our product. So those are some of the things that you can include on your homepage. Supporting images, clearly we want pictures. So I think that when you get onto your platforms, you're going to see different places where you can put pictures. So to have a few of them ready, pictures of people working on your farm, pictures of maybe your factory, pictures of your entire team. Benefits, of course, at some point further down the web page, you want to talk about why your company is better, why it's better at providing impact, or why your company is better at having a better quality. And social proof is something great too. So testimonials, impact numbers are really going to be important to put on your first page. People love it. Again, building a little bit more of that credibility. So those are just some ideas. It could be overwhelming, but if you work through these one at a time, drag your favorite pictures into a folder where it's easy to access, write a couple of paragraphs along each of these lines, you will have it ready to go to put on your website. Now let me go to the next slide. Next slide we're looking at, and so this again is similar to Looney's presentation where we talked about like the 12-slide presentation, and then we gave some step-by-step tips about what to put on each page. So we're looking at the about page. The purpose of the about page is a chance for you to go into more detail about your company. It often includes sections such as your company's vision, mission, its target markets, maybe its key partners. There can be a section that focuses on your team or your staff, So people often have a staff picture in a group, or they might have headshots of their different team members. So we've already kind of started to think about that for your PowerPoint presentation. So you might have that already. Again, I've got another link to what I thought was a great guide that you can check out on that. And this is a little bit more describing some of the key portions of your about page. And I did, for citation purposes, pull this from the guide that I referenced previously. So from HubSpot, which is, an amazing place for thinking about marketing. So you can read this and think about which ones make sense to you. And I also have a lot of examples later on in this presentation. So when you get this presentation, you can visit different websites for inspiration as well that I found in the land restoration sector that might be useful for you. Again, this is just right here, a small sample of an example of an about team. Meet our team, what makes us different. And then you can see the people's pictures start to be showing up. That can be really powerful for people. Again, now moving on to the third section of a website, which is what I call the shop, buy, or contact page. And of course, this really depends how you devise a page that fills this purpose depends on your business model. What are you wanting people to buy? How are you getting money? Make it easy for them to give you money. So I have a few really basic suggestions on the following pages that might be matched up to some of your business models. Basically, people need to know on this page, what is your product or service? They need to see it clearly. If there's multiple products, they might need to know the difference between each product so that they can choose the one that's right for them. And that's whether you're talking to an international buyer, a grocery store who's going to buy many of your products, or if you're talking to a retail client. Same thing with services. Why is what you're offering better? Somehow you have to get that across. How can they buy it? So maybe they can buy it by sending you a message on WhatsApp. Maybe they can buy it with a click online and they'll get it shipped to them. Or maybe they need to fill out an order form and be in touch with you. However it is, you want to make it very clear how they can do it right then. Maybe this is where you can send people the link to this page when they're ready to close business with you. Do you have more than one type of customer participating in your business? You might need to build a page for each market. So I've seen on different websites where they'll say, let's say it's my company about amazing African fruits. It might say amazing African fruits for smallholder farmers. And therefore, at that point, that's where I'm telling them how they participate, how they sign up, their benefits to them. I'm selling them that they should sign up and work with me, getting them in the pipeline that way. Maybe I have to market to purchasers of our products, pretend that it's raw bamboo. So I have to say, for purchases of bamboo. And then they click on that because like, yeah, I want to buy. Here's the bamboo we have. Here's like the different amounts you can buy, the different types you can buy from us, etc. So we want to make it very easy. So if you have different clients you're trying to get on board, you might need different pages, is the long story short. Next, let's see. If you have a product you're selling, many different things you can do. A lot of the platforms that we're going to go over have online stores that can be built into them. Whether the payment can be integrated or not for your country is one thing, but you can at least have people select different products and press send, and it will show an invoice for what they want. You can create your own product listing. You can direct people to contact you on WhatsApp and tell you what they want. You can create a product catalog, which is a PDF and it's downloadable that might have more things that people can look over or flip through on their phones. So the format is up to you. You might not be able to sell automatically. You might just not be able to put up a website. You might have to talk to people, but you are providing them a way to imagine buying from you, which gets them one step closer to saying yes. So just wanted to remind everybody of that. Another time, if you have services, there's some key things to keep in mind too. You might want to have a form that they can fill out that asks key questions so that you can get back to them in a way that makes sense. You might offer free consultations, but I wouldn't just say free consultations. I would describe what is included in this consultation. How many minutes is it? Is it on the phone, Zoom, in person? And what kind of things do you hope to identify in that consultation? How is that going to be useful? Because a lot of people are afraid to take free consultations because they're like, I'm not going to get any value out of this. I'm going to feel really pressured to pay for something afterwards. So if you can show them the whole path and say, you know what, we want to show you the options that we have. Here's our transparent pricing options so that people can already start to see what they might be buying after their consultation with you and how that's useful for them. If you can make this more transparent, people will feel, if you're offering services, people will feel like you're not trying to just rip them off and charge them unreasonable prices. And they'll be able to, so this is a suggestion for anybody doing services, is to offer packages with transparent pricing options. And that's just a suggestion from my end. And then of course you want people to be able to call you if they want to, phone, address, WhatsApp. So again, very simple suggestions, making this as basic as possible to get you started. I think I'll take a stop right there before I go into the impact section. I see a lot of things. I see chat box, it says 17. I'm not sure if there's any questions at this point. Samuel, Fabiana, have you seen anything?
Yes, I'm seeing some questions about pricing, about, hosting websites, that kind of thing. I believe that might be coming later in the presentation.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about pricing a little bit later. And I also wanted to recognize the dynamic conversation that we've been having on WhatsApp about different suggestions and things. And I wanted to thank everybody because I think that there's, in this whole website decision thing, there's not one way forward, but people actually might want to try 2 or 3 ways and see, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes each and see which one works for them. So I wanted to thank everybody for that dynamic conversation on WhatsApp as well. And now rounding out this presentation, I'm getting to the impact slide. Why would we have a separate page for impact? And the reason for that is a few. We want to build credibility based on your history. Sometimes you can't just talk about money on your website. You can't just say, everybody, we sold $500,000 worth of bamboo this year. It sounds a little tacky, but you can build credibility by talking about how many hectares you've worked with, how many suppliers you've worked with, how many smallholder farmers are in your network. So this is a way that looks great, and also builds your credibility on the business front at the same time. However, for you guys, also some of the benefit that you guys need to take advantage of are that there are socially motivated investors in Africa, be they grants or grants, equity or debt. So people will want to see your impact and understand that. So we want to make that easy to find if they visit your website. So those are a couple of reasons to make your page separate for impact. Let's see a few more tips I might have here. I said you could get creative. This is just a little sidebar. You could call your impact page impact, and that will get it done. But if you feel like getting creative, you could come up with in the future any other kinds of ways to call your impact page. So for instance, I've seen a honey website call their impact page Save the Bees, and that's where they talk about how their interventions are helping bees out. Social impact, you could call it Our Footprint, improving ecosystems. You could call your impact page whatever you want, but if you're not sure, calling it impact is safe and no one thinks badly of it. So I just wanted to share that with you. Also wanted to share this what do you call this, spectrum of companies. Again, so how is your company different? How is your company different than a charity or a business? How is it a social enterprise? And I would say I looked at this slide and I put it in here because most of you guys, because I know you because we've read your profiles, we've created profiles for you on the directory. Most of you guys are honestly social businesses where your profits are reinvested into your business to make it grow, or you are mission-driven for-profit enterprise, where you are making profits, but it's because of your mission to add trees to the land, add biodiversity, add additional diverse income diversifications for your community. That just is also profitable. So I wanted to just state that because this is a good differentiating between a traditional business, which is something that's been around for a long time, conventional agricultural, maybe monocrop. I just wanted to share that with you guys so you would feel special and know that you're special so that you can communicate that on your website. I just want to remind you guys can start easy. You can always add and improve to your impact session. So you can start by having some photos, listing your company's main key performance indicators. It is important to have some impact to show now. And I think I have a few examples to share with you. And these examples you can, when you get the slides, you can visit their websites and see for yourself. So this is like the simplest basic, right? If you are keeping track of some key performance indicators that you have. So this is an agroforestry system. This again comes from one of our companies in India, where he is growing acres and acres of food forests. On every acre, he has 80 to 100 fruit trees. And he has so many different herbs and biomass that he's turning into vermicompost. So you can see this is a very environmentally focused presentation of his key performance indicators. I also wanted to show this impact slide, again, from another company in India, that they have a more technology-based solution, and they talk about their impact in terms of bullet points. So you can be qualitative as well if it makes sense to be qualitative and quantitative. Let's go to the next slide. This one again is talking about price transparency. This company is really interesting. They were able to take a look at their product, which is 150 rupees, and they were able to break it down how much of that money is going where. So that's really, really creative, but it's also very transparent. And so they're talking about for every $150 you pay, or rupees you pay for this product of turmeric powder, farmers are getting 29 rupees. So it's just interesting to be that transparent. And it's always a goal because you'll get more credibility. Well, now I want to say we've covered the different pages of a basic website: the home page, about page, the shopping page, and the impact page. Yes, it will take a while to get some of that content together, but just focus on typing things out in bullet points, in paragraphs, bringing in a few key photos, diagrams, graphs. And now you have the content to take a look at different platforms and different techniques. So again, I think that doing the previous exercise is even important if you go with a designer, because you would be able to present the designer with ideas. So I looked at, I found some comparisons. So again, you can have links to these websites where they compare different website platforms. I actually go into detail on Weebly and Wix. Squarespace is another one that's popular, but I didn't go into detail on it. What I want to say about Weebly and Wix is I was able to set up a profile and get to a theme and get to editing my theme in under 5 minutes for each of those. So let's focus on Weebly first. They have different pricing. So this is where we are talking about pricing. I want to say this is misleading because the free basic use, it lets you set up a website and get everything ready. But if you want to publish it, you do have to pay $10 a month yearly. So that will bill you $120 right now, or you will pay $13 month to month. I don't know that there's a reason to do some of the more expensive ones, but you can always upgrade if you want to. So that is pricing. But in this $13 month to month, it does include a custom domain automatically linked. So you don't even have to think about how to do that. Some people in this room will say, I know how to do it for cheaper, they're overcharging you. Yes, they are. That's their business model. But if you're like me, you might decide that $13 a month is enough to pay because I don't know how to figure it out in another way. So you might want to just pay $13 a month and say that's a business expense that I'm willing to take. And this is where WhatsApp community can help. This is where people had already been saying, hey, if you're interested, contact me, private message me. Everyone is welcome to do all of these things. So moving on from the pricing of Weebly, I did mention that you can build your site, but you can't publish it until you pay money. It seemed frustrating because they used to have the free option. But I would suggest that you can start with this site and see if you like the way it looks. And then if you do, you can decide to purchase it or not. Just showing you a few screenshots of what it looks like to create your platform or your profile. Very easy. Your email, your password, really, that's all they ask you. Then they ask you if you want a business website or a personal website. I did personal. You can try both of them, see which one works out for you. They ask you to select a theme. There's a lot of different theme options there. I selected this theme that looked like it could be really easily customizable for a fruit company. And this is what the dashboard looks like. You can really drag and drop different things into this dashboard, and you just edit it just like you're editing a Word document. So I want to say that, and then really quickly to go to Wix, another option that you guys can look at. It's very easy to sign up. Again, it takes about 5 minutes. And what I found out about Wix is that you can launch your website without paying. So congratulations, your site is up and running. When you get to this part, you can view your site live, which will give you your URL. And so if you want a free option where you don't have to spend any money, this is acceptable. You can have your wix.com/whatever URL and be able to share it on our website. We don't need to have a custom URL or anything. And it also lets you go to your editor and start editing. So again, this is a picture of the editor right here. And again, you can just experiment. You can add sections. And again, when you add sections, it might be like a text section, and that's where you copy and paste some of the content you've already created. Add elements. That might be a photo that you drag in. So again, this web page was set up in about 3 minutes. And you have a link to my website right there, which you'll be able to access and see how basic it is. Again, tips. You've already created the content. So building on 2 or 3 platforms is not going to take you too long. If you do that, you're going to see which ones you like the most. If you need to invest a little bit of money, think about what it's worth to you. It might be worth it. Once you've built your website, if you decide you want to connect it to a URL, it might be worth it to spend that money. So that is up to you. But most of these websites will let you build for free and check it out. And even Wix will let you have a link that you can share for free. I have more examples here. I think I was going to talk about how you could work with the designer as well. Again, I think I mentioned it before, which is if you have your content kind of set out, a designer can consult with you about how to improve that or how to think bigger. So starting simple, and then you can bring on somebody. Of course, one of the benefits of creating your own website on one of these platforms is that since you've started it from scratch, you actually know how to change it. And that can be really beneficial because people always want to improve their websites. So those are some tips that I have. If you are able to keep it simple and you would like to be able to change it yourself, probably building on a platform is a positive thing. If you want to take your website further, more creative, you might want to get a developer to help you. That might take away some of your power to update your website. So I'll stop now, I think. And see, yeah, we have about 10 minutes left for questions. So I will take those questions, but I also want to redirect, Fabiana, I don't know if you can scroll back up. I want to redirect people to this, to the poll, because I have a few more questions that we can do on the poll as well. And so again, back to the poll, who has a website or not. And I believe that we can get that into the chat box so people can start to re-answer these questions. That's great. Fabiana, have you been able to put that chat into the chat box, that poll link?
Yes, I just sent it.
Perfect. So I hope to see these numbers growing as we start our conversation. So the next, I think I'm seeing somebody pop on right now. So people can always use the QR code or not. And I'm trying to go to the next slide. People, how excited are they about maybe getting a new logo? Well, we have provided a few resources so that you can try it out, even if you do have a logo. Maybe you, in 2 minutes, get one that you like better. And then I have the new questions. So these are all going to be new. What people feel like their greatest obstacles to creating a website are. And people will feel free to write that in. And we can also take questions or suggestions at this time. So maybe I can ask Fabiana to see if we can moderate any questions, if there are any, while people are also filling this out.
Yep. So one question that I did answer in the chat, but I wanted to readdress was, I don't have a website currently. Can I submit, for the top 15 application for the deliverable for the Land Accelerator, a website that's still in progress, it's not published yet? Your website needs to be published and live. That being said, it's okay if you're still working on it. It doesn't need to be its final form. In fact, you should always kind of be updating, adding to your website, looking for things you can improve. So get that basic information, then in detail, that impact page, something about what you sell, what you do, some contact information. It can be very basic, a few photos. That really shouldn't take you long. That's doable in the amount of time you have, but it needs to be something published and live. It needs to be just a normal URL that we click on and we can view your website. So you can't send us something under development. That's the answer to that question. Let me see.
Yeah, very good to bring that up live. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. You do not need to purchase a domain name to build a website. So these free or very low cost options that Amanda mentioned, you're not purchasing a domain name there. It's going to be hosted as a Wix site, as a Weebly site, whatever platform you're using. So it's not going to be your own domain name. But for these purposes, you absolutely do not need to purchase your own domain name. Probably recommend you don't, if you don't already have one, at least as you're beginning your website. As it picks up, maybe that's something you look into.
Yes, and just right now, maybe I'll go to some of these obstacles that people were seeing. Financial resources. I'm reading some of the ones that are in French as well. Finances. I don't know what hébergement means. Can you look that up for me? Because I see it a couple of times. I see it 3 times in the French if folks' responses. And I already have a website, but the biggest challenge I faced was to find someone who understood what I wanted to deliver. Hopefully some of these discussions could give you some points to think on. I felt my business needed to grow more before we could have a website. Well, I think that's an interesting sentiment, and maybe we're seeing that we can reverse that and use a website as a way to show what you've done already and to get more people involved, whether that's buyers or people who are on the community level. I'm looking for an expert to do it for me, and that expert should charge me reasonably, as I've told that they're expensive. Well, I might suggest maybe you try creating some of the content that we talked about today, and you can try it and put it in a website. You might be surprised at how good it looks, but then you can also reach out to an expert as well. I might suggest that. And let me see, I think I have another question here. The question I asked is, in case people want to start to answer it now, just go back to the same link in that chat box, or you can, yep, I guess I don't have the QR code on this slide, sorry. Go to that same link in the chat box and start to fill out if you're feeling more confident about something. If there's something in this presentation that you felt like helped you, we would love to know it. And another question is if there are any questions or doubts that still remain. So I think now anybody who's on this presentation is able to answer those final questions right now. Any other questions? I think we've got 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I saw another question. Oops, sorry, 1 minute. Okay, I'm using 2 devices today. I saw another question in the chat that I thought was interesting, that was about, I have a pretty limited production. I have a limited supply of my product. Won't putting a sort of a product page on my website discourage customers, because frequently I'll be out of stock? I think this is a great example of like thinking creatively about your website. Maybe, maybe customers can't purchase anything on your website. Maybe you don't even offer sales on your website, but you can still put about your product, and you can put contact information so that you can collect information from those who might be interested in purchasing, and you can reach out to them. it definitely depends on your product, how you want to do this, but you should think creatively. You should definitely think about how your customer is interacting with your website, what's going to be useful to them. And then you should also think to the future, you know, people need to know about your product, and at least having the information there, if not a way to sell it on your website, is going to be useful. Amanda, you might want to add to that as well.
Yeah, I would say congratulations for being able to sell everything you produce. As a business grows, you might want to think, how can you produce more? Or the other thing is, you can raise your prices perhaps a little bit. You need to, I don't know what you're selling. If you want to come online and unmute yourself and share something, but you know, one technique could be to increase your prices a little bit if you're able. It's never bad to earn more money because then you'll be able to reinvest it in growing your business or paying your suppliers more, hiring people that you need to grow. The other thing I would say is this happens a lot. You know, even the most successful businesses are selling out. Like I wanted to buy some shoes that were handmade and I had to wait like 3 months to get them. So you can have a wait list that people can sign up for. You can have pre-purchases where people put some money down if they really want it, and then they pay the rest when you deliver it to them. So I think that it's always good to find out who your customers are, even if you don't have enough to sell to all of them. Just manage expectations in one way or another.
Something else. Sorry, I did it again. Something else I saw was asking about Google Business, having a Google Business page that sort of links to your website, shows where you're located. That's great. When people Google you, that's going to be another way that they can get information, and it'll link to your website. You'll make sure you're sort of at the top of a Google search that way. I think that's a great idea. That does not replace a website though. You need to be able to link your website through that Google Business link. So I think that's a great option, especially if you have a physical location. That's something you definitely want to have. And same thing with just like other social media. That's a great thing to link from your website. It's a great way to sort of interact with customers in a different way. You might be able to post more pictures, post more live updates if you do events or anything like that. You can do that through social media, but again, that doesn't replace a website. But you should have all those things like that. People should be able to go to your website and find your social media, have everything working together with your online sort of presence.
I love that point. Google Business is a really great tool to use because even when you set up your Google Business webpage, and again, if people don't know what it is, you can Google Business page, and Google will have a way for you to help set it up, claim your address, etc. You can even then link to your Google page from your website. You can send people, you can, like when you're done with your customers, you can suggest that they leave you a review. How many times has that happened to you and you have not left a review? When I have left a review, it's usually because these people are saying, hey, I'll give you a muffin if you leave a review. And I said, yeah, I want a muffin. So, you can think about incentivizing people to leave you reviews. That might get you nicer reviews. You don't have to force people to leave you a good review, but they might be happier if they're getting a muffin or equivalent of something cool. And then you can use that Google Business page as another thing to highlight on your website. Check our 5-star reviews on Google, boom, link. So it's really great. And I think that ties into what Samuel was saying about using social media in conjunction with your website to pull together the best of what your website's doing. Some websites really allow you to link Instagram, for instance. So that can be really easy. You're out in the field every day. If you create an Instagram account for your business and you're just taking pictures and writing little blurbs about them, that can just show a lot of movement, interest, reality to your business. So yeah, social media can be a really great thing to integrate to your website via different links and everything. I know we're at the hour, but people also took some time to fill out these surveys. So I just want to scroll through really fast and see if there's any commonalities here. People felt more confident about improving the content, putting content together, use of social network accounts, maybe in conjunction with the website. Introducing, I think a lot of organization of communication, free web design options that look pretty easy. Yeah. I have PTSD from watching family fail dismally at creating websites for their businesses. I'm hoping that just having this 4-page, approach will help people keep it very simple. And if you're keeping it simple, you won't fail dismally. Something I've learned from creating my own websites, because I'm not a designer, is I really, really keep it simple. And I pull in, I have text, I have a few paragraphs, I have a few pictures, and that usually is much better than going out of control with trying to pull so many things there. So let me see if I move to the final slide here and see if there's following questions. Oh, we just had one person respond so far, but if you have any other questions, feel free to fill this out, anytime, even as we close our website, we'll check back with it. This is not the last time you'll hear about a website. This was a very practical website. This was on this presentation was on a optional day. And we came up with it last minute because the website presentation we're going to have was a little bit closer towards the end of our presentation. So we wanted to give people a chance to look at this live with us on Thursday, but we're also recording it. It's going to be a part of the guide. So even for people who weren't joining us today, they'll be able to check my slides. They'll be able to check this presentation starting now. So we wanted to offer that to you, but we're going to have another session where we might go a little bit more into the flair of a website. So it might be great. For those of you who don't have websites, try and get started, because then you can come back to our future sessions and talk about successes you've had or some challenges that you're currently having on our upcoming sessions. You can check our syllabus on Restore Forward to know when that session is going to be. And then maybe I just want to leave it to Samuel to maybe talk about what we have next Tuesday.
Again, thank you so much, Amanda, for taking us through this. Yeah, so I saw many questions coming in, whether this is mandatory, what happens if I don't have a link that is functional, but under construction. So my answer is, one of the things or one of the deliverables that we have been able to promise our partners is that anybody who comes through our program must be able to develop a website. So for those who do not have, feel free to reach out to Amanda, to Fabiana, to myself. We can be able to help you create one if you are stuck. We are happy to do that. Otherwise, we'll be expecting a link to your website. And I know it's possible if you create time. Yeah, so for next week on Tuesday, we have an exciting session talking about supply chain management. So how do you work with your farmers? How do you ensure that your supply chain is right? Is there correct supply chain in tree-based value chain? So we'll be able to find out that. So please join us next week on Tuesday, even as we go through that. Otherwise, thank you so much. See you next week on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.